Have you ever promised yourself that tomorrow would be different? Tomorrow you would wake up early. Tomorrow you would stop wasting time. Tomorrow you would finally start working on your dream. You make the promise at night with complete confidence. You imagine yourself waking up before sunrise, exercising, reading, working hard, and becoming the person you always wanted to be. But then morning comes, the alarm rings, you open your eyes, and suddenly the promise you made last night doesn't feel so important anymore. You tell yourself, just 5 more minutes, and those 5 minutes become an hour. Then you spend the rest of the day feeling guilty. At night, you make the same promise again. Tomorrow, I'll do it. This was the life of a young man named Ethan. Ethan was 24 years old and lived in a quiet town outside Chicago. He was intelligent, ambitious, and full of dreams. He wanted to become a successful software developer, but his dream wasn't just about money. Ethan wanted freedom. He wanted to build something of his own. He wanted to support his family. And one day, he wanted to create a life where he controlled his time instead of constantly worrying about it. He knew exactly what he needed to do. He needed to learn programming. He needed to build projects. He needed to exercise. He needed to read. He needed to take care of his health. He knew all of it. There was only one problem. He couldn't stay consistent. Every Sunday night, Ethan created the perfect plan. He would wake up at 5:30 in the morning, exercise for 30 minutes, read 20 pages, study programming for 2 hours, eat healthy food, stay away from social media, and go to bed before 10:30. He would write everything in a notebook. Then he would look at the list and smile. This time will be different. Monday morning arrived. At 5:30, the alarm rang. Ethan opened his eyes. His room was dark. It was cold outside. He looked at the alarm. Then he thought, I barely slept last night. He reached for his phone. Just 5 more minutes. He turned off the alarm. When he opened his eyes again, it was 8:15. He jumped out of bed. He rushed to get ready. There was no workout, no reading, and programming, just another morning lost. But Ethan didn't give up. That evening, he told himself, I'll make up for it tonight. After dinner, he opened his laptop. But before starting his work, he checked his phone. One short video, then another, then another. 30 minutes passed, then an hour, then 2. Finally, Ethan looked at the clock. It was almost midnight. He closed his phone and stared at his laptop. He felt disappointed. I'll start tomorrow. And tomorrow came, but nothing changed. This happened again and again. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Ethan kept making plans, but he kept breaking them. Then one morning, something happened that forced him to look at his life differently. Ethan received an email. It was from a technology company he had admired for years. They were hiring junior developers. His heart started beating faster. He opened the job description. They wanted programming knowledge. They wanted completed projects. They wanted a strong portfolio. Ethan slowly scrolled through the requirements. He had none of them. He closed the email. For a few seconds, he sat completely still. Then he whispered, I could have been ready by now. That night, Ethan stood in front of the bathroom mirror. He looked tired, not physically tired, mentally tired. Tired of starting over, tired of making promises, tired of disappointing himself. He asked himself a question. If I continue living exactly like this, where will I be 1 year from now? The answer scared him. He realized that 1 year from now, he could still be sitting in the same room, making the same promises. He needed to change, but he didn't know how. So the next morning, Ethan decided to visit someone who might. His old college professor, Daniel. Daniel had always been different. He wasn't the loudest person. He didn't constantly talk about motivation. He didn't post inspirational quotes every morning. But there was something unusual about him. Daniel was consistent. For years, he had followed the same basic routines. He worked when he didn't feel like working. He exercised when he didn't feel motivated. He kept his promises to himself. Ethan told him everything. He explained how motivated he felt at night, but completely different in the morning. Daniel listened carefully. Then he asked one simple question. How much willpower do you think you need to become disciplined? Ethan thought about it. A lot? Daniel smiled. That is where you're wrong. Ethan looked confused. Daniel leaned back in his chair. Willpower is temporary. Some days you're motivated, some days you're tired, some days you're stressed. Some days life simply doesn't go according to plan. So what am I supposed to do? Daniel picked up a piece of paper. He wrote 5 words. Make the right action easy. Then he looked at Ethan. Your problem isn't that you don't want success. Your problem is that your environment makes distraction easier than progress. Ethan remained silent. For the first time, he started looking at his problem differently. Maybe he didn't need more motivation. Maybe he needed a better system. Daniel continued. Don't try to change your entire life tomorrow. Then what should I do? Build one small habit. Ethan asked, how small? Daniel smiled. Small enough that you can do it even on your worst day. Ethan didn't know it yet, but that simple idea was about to change his life. Daniel gave Ethan a simple challenge. For the next 30 days, he said, forget about becoming a perfect person. No 5 a.m. wake up. No 3-hour study sessions. No complicated workout plan. No trying to fix your entire life in 1 week. Ethan listened carefully. Instead, choose one important habit. Daniel pointed at him. Something that moves you towards your goal. Ethan thought about his dream. I need to learn programming. Good. How much should I study? Daniel answered, 20 minutes. Ethan looked surprised. Only 20? Yes. That doesn't sound like enough. Daniel smiled. 20 minutes done every day is more powerful than 3 hours done once a week. That sentence stayed in Ethan's mind. That night, Ethan made his first real change. He didn't create a giant schedule. He didn't write 20 goals. He simply prepared his environment. He put his laptop on the kitchen table. He opened his programming software. He placed his notebook beside it. Then he took his phone and put it on the other side of the room. Before going to sleep, he set one alarm, 7 a.m. The next morning, the alarm rang. Ethan opened his eyes. His hand automatically reached for his phone. But the phone wasn't beside him. It was across the room. He had to stand up to get it. He looked at the laptop. It was already waiting for him. He sat down, opened his programming course, and started. 20 minutes. That was the only requirement. At first, it felt strange. There was no huge motivation, no powerful feeling. He simply worked. After 20 minutes, he stopped. And something unexpected happened. He felt good. Not because he had done something extraordinary, but because he had kept a promise to himself. The next morning, he did it again. 20 minutes. Then again. And again. On the 7th day, Ethan noticed something. He wasn't thinking about whether he felt motivated anymore. He simply sat down. That was the first sign that the habit was becoming automatic. Then Daniel gave him another lesson. Don't rely on memory. What do you mean? Your environment should remind you what to do. So Ethan started changing his surroundings. He placed his running shoes beside his bed. He kept a water bottle on his desk. He prepared his clothes the night before. He kept healthy food where he could see it. He stopped keeping junk food within easy reach. He removed unnecessary apps from his phone. He turned off notifications. He created a small workspace where his only purpose was learning. And he made one more important rule. Between 7 and 8 every morning, the phone stayed away. At first, his friends joked about it. You're becoming too serious. Ethan laughed, but he knew something they didn't. He wasn't trying to become serious. He was trying to become consistent. After 2 weeks, Ethan added another small habit: 10 minutes of exercise. Not an hour, not an extreme workout, just 10 minutes. Push-ups, squats, stretching, and a short walk. That was enough, because Ethan finally understood the real goal. The goal wasn't to destroy himself with effort. The goal was to teach his brain, I do what I say I will do. Slowly, something changed inside him. He started trusting himself. He started feeling proud, not because he was perfect, but because he was showing up. Then came the first real test. One morning, Ethan overslept. He woke up at 8:10. His old reaction would have been immediate. I ruined everything. I'll start again Monday. I've already failed. But this time, he remembered Daniel's advice. Never miss twice. Ethan didn't have time for his morning routine, so he changed the plan. That evening, before dinner, he opened his laptop. He worked for 20 minutes. That was it. He had missed one session, but he didn't allow one missed day to become two. Daniel explained why this mattered. Discipline doesn't mean you never fail. It means you don't turn failure into an identity. Ethan understood. A bad day wasn't a bad life. Missing one workout didn't make him lazy. Losing focus for one day didn't erase his progress. The important thing was returning. Weeks passed. Ethan's 20-minute sessions became 30 minutes, then 45. Sometimes he worked for an hour without even realizing it. He started building small programming projects. His confidence grew. His exercise became normal. His phone no longer controlled his mornings. And something even more important happened. He stopped needing motivation to begin. He had created a system that carried him forward. But Ethan still had one final lesson to learn. Discipline isn't only about creating good habits. It's also about removing the things that constantly pull you away. So Ethan started asking himself a different question. Not, how can I become more motivated? But, what keeps making the wrong choice so easy? The answer was everywhere. His phone, late night scrolling, unplanned weekends, a messy workspace, friends who constantly interrupted his goals, and most importantly, his habit of making everything complicated. So he simplified his life. One goal, one routine, one small step at a time. And after several months, Ethan was no longer the same person who had once closed that job opportunity email. He had built projects, he had developed real skills, he had built consistency, but he still hadn't applied for another job. Until one morning, an opportunity appeared again. And this time, Ethan wasn't afraid. Several months after his conversation with Daniel, Ethan received another email. The same company he had wanted to work for was hiring again. He opened the job description. This time, something felt different. The requirements were almost the same: programming knowledge, projects, portfolio, problem-solving skills. But now, Ethan had them. He had spent months working quietly. Nobody had seen every morning. Nobody had applauded his 20-minute sessions. Nobody had celebrated the days he put his phone away. But those small actions had added up. Ethan submitted his application. Then he waited. A few days later, he received an interview invitation. His heart started beating faster. The old Ethan would have been terrified, but the new Ethan knew something important. He didn't need to feel confident before taking action. Confidence came from preparation, and preparation came from consistency. He went through the interview. He answered the questions. He explained his projects. He talked about what he had learned. A few days later, another email arrived. Ethan opened it. He read the first sentence. Then he stopped. He had been offered the job. For several seconds, he simply stared at the screen. Then he smiled. He thought about the person he had been 6 months earlier, the person who kept saying, tomorrow, the person who created perfect plans but never followed them, the person who believed disciplined people were simply born with stronger willpower. Now he understood the truth. His life hadn't changed because he suddenly became more motivated. It changed because he stopped depending on motivation. He built systems. He changed his environment. He made his habits smaller. He removed distractions. He stopped trying to be perfect. And most importantly, he learned how to return after failure. That evening, Ethan went to visit Daniel. He told him the news. Daniel smiled. Congratulations. Ethan laughed. Honestly, I don't think I could have done this without your advice. Daniel shook his head. I only showed you the door. You walked through it every day. Ethan smiled. Then he asked one final question. So what is the secret to discipline? Daniel looked at him. There is no secret. Ethan waited. Daniel continued. You simply stop making discipline depend on how you feel. He picked up the same piece of paper from months earlier. The words were still there. Make the right action easy. Daniel pointed to them. When motivation disappears, your system should remain. When your energy is low, your habit should be small enough to continue. When you fail, your system should help you return. That is discipline. Ethan finally understood. Discipline isn't waking up every morning feeling powerful. It isn't being motivated every single day. It isn't forcing yourself to work for 10 hours. And it certainly isn't being perfect. Real discipline is much simpler. It's doing what needs to be done even when your feelings are telling you to wait. It's preparing tonight so tomorrow becomes easier. It's putting your phone away before temptation appears. It's starting with 20 minutes instead of waiting for 3 hours of free time. It's making the good choice convenient and the bad choice difficult. Most importantly, discipline is built through repetition. One small action, then another, until the person who once needed motivation becomes someone who simply follows the routine. So if you're watching this and thinking, I have no discipline, stop saying that. You don't need to become a completely different person overnight. You don't need unlimited willpower. You don't need a perfect morning routine. You don't need to wait for Monday. Start today. Choose one thing. Make it small. Make it easy. Prepare your environment. Remove one distraction. And commit to doing it every day. If you want to exercise, start with 10 minutes. If you want to read, start with 5 pages. If you want to learn a skill, start with 20 minutes. If you want to build a business, work on it for a small amount of time every day. Don't focus on how much you can do once. Focus on what you can repeat. Because your future isn't created by what you do occasionally, it is created by what you do consistently. And remember this. You will have bad days. You will lose motivation. You will get tired. You will fail. You will sometimes fall back into old habits. That's normal. The difference is what you do next. Don't wait for the perfect Monday. Don't tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. Return immediately. One bad day doesn't matter, but one bad day followed by another and another can become a pattern. So remember Ethan's rule. Never miss twice. Your goal isn't perfection. Your goal is becoming someone who returns. Because every time you keep a small promise to yourself, you build trust. Every time you resist a distraction, you build control. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you build discipline. And one day, you will look back and realize something incredible. You didn't change your life with one massive decision. You changed it with hundreds of small decisions that nobody noticed. You didn't suddenly discover unlimited willpower. You simply built a system that made progress easier. And that's the real secret. Discipline isn't about having more willpower. It's about creating a life where the right action becomes the normal action. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for tomorrow. Start small. Start today. And keep showing up. Because eventually, the person who once said, I'll do it tomorrow, will become the person who says, I said I would do it, and I did.